My arranged marriage CEO hated the match so intensely that during the entire 3 years we were legally married, he never met me once. That night, at a business banquet, someone drugged him, and his secretary came to beg me for help. When everything was over, he didn't recognize me at all. Yet, afterward, he tried to keep me by his side like a little canary. He even warned me, "Don't ever fall in love with me. I will never love you, and I will never marry you." Me? The same woman who once saved his life? My father had arranged the marriage between me and William, wealthy beyond imagination. But William despised both me and my father. Even though he gave my dad a 100 million bride price, he added one harsh condition. Our marriage would be dissolved after 3 years. The day we registered the marriage, he didn't even show up. He sent his secretary, Mr. Chen, with the documents and immediately flew overseas. I assumed our marriage would remain a formality forever. But 2 months before the divorce date, Secretary Chen suddenly told me to go to a hotel to find William. I thought something serious had happened. The moment I stepped into the suite, William pushed open the bathroom door and glared at me, breath uneven, eyes unfocused, clearly struggling. "I didn't call for special services," he snapped. "You have 5 seconds to get out." I froze, not only because of his words, but because he looked completely off. His face was flushed, his eyes glossy, his shirt damp and clinging to him as if he had just stepped out of the shower. He looked dangerously unwell. With the dramas I'd watched, I recognized immediately he had been drugged. I stepped forward. "Can you endure it? If not, I should take you to a hospital." William's breathing grew heavier. I reached for my phone to call Secretary Chen, but he suddenly grabbed me, his self-control slipping. His voice was strained. "Help me. Whatever compensation you want afterward, I'll give it to you." The next morning, I woke up alone. My whole body ached. I could barely stand. Outside, William was sitting on the sofa in a white robe, looking composed and completely unaffected. Our eyes met, and every memory from the night before rushed back, making my face burn. I opened my mouth to break the awkwardness, but he spoke first, expression cold and detached. "I didn't know it was your first time. If you want more compensation, ask." Compensation? For being with my own husband? Thinking about saving for a house, I raised my hand. 50,000. Disdain flickered in William's eyes. He handed me his phone. "Enter your account number." While typing, I cursed him silently for acting like he was doing me a favor. Then he asked, "What's your name?" I froze. "You don't recognize me?" "Should I?" he replied calmly. He truly hadn't seen me once in our nearly 3-year marriage. I swallowed my laughter. "Kathy, with the South Radical." He transferred the 50,000. "Keep this to yourself." He didn't remember me, but he paid me. Honestly, I didn't know which part was more ridiculous. Seeing the money on my phone, a thought formed. If this happened a few more times, I'd be rich. I smiled. "No problem. If this situation ever happens again, you can come to me." His expression darkened instantly. Secretary Chen was called in. William ordered, "Take her to a pharmacy, watch her take a contraceptive pill, and warn her never to appear in front of me again." Secretary Chen's eyes bulged. "Boss?" Afraid he'd expose me and ruin my little fortune-making plan, I grabbed him. "Stop talking. Let's go get the medicine." Outside, he asked, "Did you fight with the boss?" After checking no one was near, I whispered, "He doesn't recognize me. He thought I was a call girl." Secretary Chen was stunned, then sympathetic. I shrugged. "Just keep it a secret. If he needs help again, remember to call me." The boss is cold and abstinent. He never gets involved with women. He was drugged last night. If I hadn't called you, he would have forced himself to endure it. Strangely, knowing he didn't normally fool around made me feel a little pleased. And he'll find out your identity sooner or later, Secretary Chen warned me. How is that a problem? I sighed dramatically. It's perfect. He can't recognize me anyway. Then, with a pitiful tone, I grew up in the country, my dad didn't care, my mom didn't love me. I thought marriage would save me. But life with your boss is worse than before. Let me earn a little money. Once the marriage ends in 2 months, I'll leave immediately. I won't cling to him. He seemed touched. Fine. But if the boss finds out the truth, don't drag me down. I patted his shoulder. Don't worry, I'd never implicate you. From then on, I prayed every day that William would get drugged again. After a week of nothing, I even suggested that Secretary Chen do it. He almost passed out. The last person who tried that had his wrist tendons cut, he whispered. So I switched to plan B. I asked for William's preferences and schedule, determined to get close to him and maybe become his kept woman. One day, at a bar, I saw William fighting off a group of men. People whispered that a woman, rejected by him, had hired thugs to attack him. When one man raised a knife toward him, I didn't think. I ran forward and shielded him. The knife cut my arm. William turned, shock lighting his eyes. When he saw the blood, fury sparked in them. "Are you looking to die?" he snapped, kicking the attacker away. Security rushed in, and the manager apologized endlessly. William ignored everyone, lifted me into his arms, and carried me straight to the car. After getting stitched up at the hospital, he asked sternly, "Why were you there?" I prayed he wasn't suspecting I followed him. "I was just hanging out." "Why did you shield me?" Time to use this well. Lowering my lashes, I whispered softly, "A husband and wife share 100 days of grace. I couldn't watch you get hurt." A vein pulsed at his temple. It was a transaction, nothing more. "But I was your first man," I said lightly. "I can't forget you." His ears turned slightly red. Awkward. "I'll transfer $50,000 for medical expenses. From now on, pretend you don't know me. Don't interfere in my business." "Oh, okay." As if I would listen. When he finished the transfer, I tucked my phone away, suddenly thinking the wound was worth the money. He noticed my smile. "What are you smiling at?" "Nothing. I just think you're handsome and generous. A wonderful person." Then I asked, "Can I add your WeChat?" "What for?" "Well, I got hurt for you. I wanted to let you know when I recover so you won't worry." In truth, I just wanted him to remember I existed. He gave a soft laugh. "Don't have fantasies about me. I have zero interest in you." "Fine," I sighed. At least I still had Secretary Chen as my insider. I stood to leave, but William suddenly extended his phone toward me. "What?" "Didn't you want to add me? Take it and do it yourself." I stared, stunned, before grabbing it and adding him with my alternate account. Another step toward my goal. I planned to recover before approaching him again. But 3 days later, my dad told me to deliver a project proposal to William. He even promised me $50,000 as a delivery fee. For money, of course I went. That evening, I arrived at the hotel where William had a business dinner. I asked Secretary Chen to bring him the documents. While waiting, I sat outside on a flower bed, chewing gum my dad had insisted I take. 10 minutes later, heat spread through my body. My face flushed, my pulse raced. Something felt very wrong. I called Secretary Chen. The moment the call connected, I heard William's cold voice. "Someone like Xiaolong, who sells his daughter for profit, isn't worthy of working with Gu Corporation. From now on, whether it's him or his daughter, I refuse to meet them." I froze.
And the gum he gave me was actually an aphrodisiac. Thinking that William was my husband and we'd slept together once before, I told Secretary Chen, "Give the phone to William." When William answered, I rasped, "I was drugged. Can you help me the way I helped you?" 5 minutes later, Secretary Chen picked me up. William and I sat in the back seat. He crawled beneath my skin, feeling like thousands of invisible insects were gnawing at my bones. My mind faded, leaving only raw instinct. I climbed onto William's lap, kissing him wildly while unbuttoning his belt. His breath caught. He shoved me aside sharply. "Touch me again and I'll throw you out onto the street." My voice trembled with grievance. "Didn't you agree to help me?" "I agreed to take you to the hospital for gastric lavage." I froze. Images of my previous drunken lavage flashed. A tube shoved into my stomach through my nose, water poured in and pumped out, again and again, until I thought my soul would come out with it. I shook my head violently. "No, not lavage. If you won't help me, I'll find another man." "Suit yourself," William replied icily. I was furious and miserable. "You bastard. I swallowed the word wife at the last second and changed it to lover, because I remembered how he told Secretary Chin to keep me away from him. If he realized who I was, not only would he refuse to help, he might even demand that 100 million back. William cast me a warning glance. "Say one more word of nonsense and I'll rip your tongue out." Rumors said he was ruthless, merciless, only 27 yet ruling both legal and illegal circles in High Shear. I instantly wilted. I called my best friend, Megan, explained the situation, and decided to go to her home to find her brother Denny for help. Secretary Chin didn't dare change the route, and I was desperate enough to try opening the car door to jump. William pressed my hand away from the door handle, his voice edged with impatience. "Go to the place she mentioned." Only then did he release me and move away. Inside the sealed car, no one spoke. Only my ragged, shaky breaths filled the silence. When we arrived, Denny opened the car door and bent down to pick me up. I lunged forward and kissed his cheek eagerly. William suddenly pulled me back into his arms. His voice dropped dark and low. "You really intend to sleep with him?" So let go." His black eyes stormed with anger. I didn't understand why he was so furious until he slammed the car door shut. Megan and Denny, knowing my marriage to William, froze in shock outside with the antidote walking away. I was livid. I opened my mouth to curse, but William's rough fingertips pressed hard against my lips, as if wiping off something filthy. It hurt enough to make me whimper. Secretary Chin immediately raised the divider, separating the car into 2 private compartments. William's dark gaze pinned me. "Other than me, has any man ever touched you?" Angry at his unreasonable jealousy, I snapped, "What does that have to do with you?" He grabbed my chin. "Has anyone? Yes or no?" Tears welled in my eyes from the pain. "No." He finally released me, murmuring like a reluctant compromise, "Good girl. I'll help you this once." Then he kissed me while his hands moved decisively. I was shocked, then quickly lost in it, desperate for more. He held himself back with visible restraint, kissing the sensitive spot behind my ear, his voice low, raspy, and unbearably seductive. "Slow down. I'll give you everything in a moment." My mind dissolved. I let him do whatever he wanted. I didn't know where he took me. When I regained awareness, I was soaking in a bathtub. I stared at William in confusion. His gaze was deep, unreadable. He removed his clothes and stepped in. The hard bathtub surface hurt my back. I tried to push him away, but he seized my hands first, interlacing our fingers and pinning them to be edge. "I want to go to the bed later. Be good." He pulled me into his arms and kissed me again. The next morning, sunlight filled the room. I woke alone in a large bed, naked. There were no clothes in sight. Judging from the layout, this wasn't a hotel. It looked like a private bedroom. I hesitated about checking the wardrobe to find something to wear. When William entered, satisfaction lingered faintly between his brows. He wore a black silk robe, loosely tied, revealing smooth, pale collarbones and 2 faint bite marks beneath them. My bite marks. He surged to my face. I looked away quickly. He sat down casually. "Talk." Can you get me something to wear?" "Wear what?" "You staged this whole seduction just to get me to take your clothes off, didn't you?" He tossed me something. A pack of gum. My heart lurched. "You went through my bag." "It fell out of it," he said coldly. "Explain. Why did you try to set me up?" I didn't know the gum was drugged." William leaned over me, bracing his arms on either side, his black eyes locked on mine, as if searching every inch of my face. First time, you barged into a hotel room and slept with me. Second time, you risked your life to block a knife from me. Last night, you dressed yourself up and deliberately seduced me for what? What exactly do you want from me? His tone was unhurried, half interrogation, half temptation. Under his gaze, I felt bewitched and answered honestly. Those were coincidences, but yes, I do want your money. He paused. How much? 5 million? I want to buy a big, well-renovated house. 5 million for one night with me. He scoffed. I'm at a loss. What if it's multiple nights? My mouth moved faster than my brain. His lips curved faintly. My heart thumped. I leaned in and kissed him lightly, then stared straight into his eyes. Last night, wasn't it good? You can keep me as your canary. I can make you happy every day. His ears instantly turned red. His voice grew low, strangely enticing. You like me? No. Do you want to like me or marry me? No to both. So you like my money. You only want my money. Yes. He chuckled softly, eyes glimmering as if extremely satisfied with that answer. Remember what you just said. If you ever fall for me or try to marry me, you won't get a single cent from me. I froze, then broke into delighted surprise. So you're really agreeing to keep me? From now on, you'll live here at the clock tower. 5 million a month. Is that enough? 5 million a month. That was far, far beyond anything I had imagined. I smiled so wide, my dimples appeared. Enough. More than enough. He brushed his fingers over my cheek and reminded me. Remember, never fall in love with me. I will never love you, and I will never marry you. Thinking of the marriage certificate tucked away at home, I couldn't help letting out a little laugh. His brows lifted. What are you laughing at? You said it so seriously, it's kind of cute. But I have one condition. If I want to end this arrangement, you must agree. I plan to end at the moment our divorce was finalized. After all, as his legal wife, even if he didn't pay me, I could justify making him happy. But after the divorce, continuing like this would make me feel cheap, like I was selling my body for money. Call it my emotional bottom line. William nodded. Fine. I couldn't barely contain myself. So are you transferring the money now? He paused, letting out a helpless laugh. You really... I cut him off, reaching for the belt of his robe. Don't worry, I'm very diligent, both in taking money and in providing services. He grabbed my hand. Not so fast. I need to get a divorce first. I froze. A divorce already? How was I supposed to continue my little game then? William raised his brow at me. Surprised I'm married? No. Well, I mean, you don't have to divorce. I won't tell your wife about us. William's expression turned solemn. The first night I was forced by circumstances, but last night I willingly violated the fidelity of my marriage. I tried to convince him, what's the big deal? Rich men keeping women on the side is practically normal. I don't care what other people do, he said firmly, but I must give her at least basic respect, even if she's only my wife in name. Then he walked out of the bedroom and said to Secretary Chen, call Miss Chia now. Inform her we're ending the engagement early. I had no clothes on, so I couldn't run out and stop them. Within half a minute, my phone began ringing loudly in the quiet room. I thought if I just didn't answer, maybe I could still get away with this. But William came back in. Your phone is ringing. You're not going to pick up?
My heart pounded wildly. I'm not wearing anything. I'll ignore it. I'll get it for you. No! Before I finished speaking, he had already walked to the cabinet opposite the bed and reached into my bag. That moment, I finally understood the true meaning of despair. But I quickly consoled myself. Fine, maybe I'm not meant to be rich. When I was born, a fortune teller said my fate was terrible, that I would bring misfortune to my parents. Coincidentally, that year, my dad's business collapsed and my mom took up with a pretty boy tie and demanded a divorce. Both of them blamed everything on me, claimed I ruined their marriage and their careers. They dumped me at my granddad's home in the countryside. Her family was poor. I slept in the same bed as her my whole childhood. No privacy, no personal space. Sometimes when her husband returned, I was kicked to a mat on the floor. Even after I was brought back for the arranged marriage with William, my dad still wouldn't let me live at home and made me rent outside. Having a home of my own had become my biggest obsession. Thinking William was about to discover my identity, my heart sank into absolute hopelessness. But then he handed me my phone. She hung up? I took it and stared. It hadn't rung because someone called. It had shut off from low battery. A tiny spark of hope flickered in me. I hurried to distract him. That's fine. Can you get me something to wear? I want to get up. After putting on the clean clothes William prepared for me, I walked to the living room. He was asking Secretary Chen, "What did Miss Chow say?" Secretary Chen glanced at me. I immediately cut in. "William, can Secretary Chen take me to get the morning after pill before we do anything else? If I take it too late, I might get pregnant." He clearly did not want that. "Fine. Remember to bring the key to the front door. I have business later. Move in by yourself." Inside the elevator, Secretary Chen stared at me in shock. "What exactly is going on between you and the boss?" I exhaled dramatically. "He's decided to keep me as his canary." "Then he's divorcing you?" "Yes, but can you not use your connections to speed up the process? Just follow the normal procedure. Register, wait a month during the cooling-off period, and then get the divorce certificate." I was determined to earn $5 million during that month. Secretary Chen hesitated, but after my shameless pleading, he agreed and took me to register the divorce. That afternoon, my dad called. When he learned William refused to work with him and that we had filed for divorce, he exploded in rage. Afraid he'd ruin my plans, I lied. I took the gum early. When the drug hit, I found a male model at the bar. My dad nearly fainted from fury. But since I was now tainted, he no longer had the leverage to cling to the Gu family, and reluctantly accepted that the arranged marriage had ended. I let out a long breath of relief. The good news was, that night when I told William I'd moved into the clock tower, he immediately transferred $5 million to me. The better news was, he seemed to forget about his little canary completely and didn't contact me for an entire week. So, that night, thinking he wouldn't suddenly appear, I went to a bar with Megan. There happened to be a dance for free drinks event, so we got on stage and performed a hot duet of Troublemaker. When we came down, a lot of men were staring at us, especially my ex Ian, whose peach blossom eyes practically clung to me. I understood why. When we dated, I dressed conservatively. Even in summer, I wouldn't show my calves. My ankles had to be covered. Now, in a black crop top and black miniskirt, my pale waist and long legs were on full display. Our eyes met. Megan and I both felt unlucky and wanted to avoid him, but his girlfriend Rui suddenly tightened her grip on his arm, looked me over, and pouted. "You said Kathy was ugly, dressed like a country bumpkin, and didn't turn you on at all. But today, she clearly looks beautiful. Why did you lie to me?" Ian chuckled softly. "You're jealous. Don't be. She only has a face. She's boring as hell. Even if she stood naked in front of me, I'd feel disgusted. I dumped her ages ago." I froze. The boy who once professed eternal love for me on stage at our freshman ceremony was now humiliating me in public. And the reason we broke up was because he couldn't let go of Rui, the white moonlight he cheated with. Thinking of how foolishly I loved him, a sharp pain stabbed my chest and hot tears spilled from my eyes. Megan couldn't stand it. "Shut up! Your pathetic, dog-like pursuit of Kathy is still pinned on the school forum for juniors to study, and Kathy's man now is William, High City's most powerful tycoon. Watch your mouth unless you want to die." The crowd suddenly fell silent, staring at us with mixed expressions. I was stunned. I didn't expect Megan to drag William into this. Thankfully, she said, man, not husband, or my secret would have exploded on the spot. Ian blinked, then looked behind us. He let out a derisive laugh. Well, speak of the devil, CEO is right there watching. If he's really Kathy's man, I'll kneel and call you two grandmas. If not, you two can kneel and call me grandpa. Megan and I turned around sharply and saw William sitting on a bar stool, wearing a tailored shirt and dress pants, looking effortlessly elegant. The shifting neon lights bathed his sharp features, making him look even more breathtaking. His deep-shadowed gaze cut straight through the crowd and locked onto me. The moment our eyes met, my heart lurched sharply. Had he been sitting there this whole time watching everything from start to finish? Megan looked thrilled, as if we'd already won, but all I felt was cold fear sinking into my stomach. I was nothing but his hidden canary, a woman he'd never acknowledge in public. How could he possibly admit he was my man? And what Megan said, it basically damaged his reputation. Who knew? He might even come settle the score with us. I grabbed Megan, wanting to leave, but Ian refused to let us go. He stepped forward and blocked our path. Trying to run? Call me grandpa first. You're sick, I snapped. I never agreed to bet with you. Then a low, velvety voice sounded above my head. Why not bet? Don't you want him to kneel and call you two grandmas? I froze and looked up. William was walking towards me. His long fingers brushed away the cold tears on my cheeks. Then he leaned in and pressed a kiss to my lips. Just like the onlookers, my eyes flew wide open and I held my breath in absolute shock. I couldn't believe William would do something like that. He gazed at me with tender amusement. Want to or not? You have to want to. After all, I'm your man. My man? My heartbeat went wild, fluttering like a frightened deer. William turned to Ian, his voice calm, yet carrying the oppressive authority of someone born to command. Kneel properly and louder. Ian's face twisted with humiliation. I was just joking around with Kathy. Please don't take it seriously. William's lips curved, but the smile never reached his eyes. If you refuse to keep your promise to kneel and call them grandmas, then I'll have my men strip you here and then and let you experience what true humiliation feels like. At those words, several black-suited bodyguards moved in, surrounding Ian. He turned ghost white instantly. Finally defeated, he knelt before Megan and me and obediently called each of us grandma. William looked at me. Satisfied? I gave a small nod. Then he turned back to Ian. Stay away from Kathy from now on. If I hear you bother her again, I won't kill you, but I'll make you wish you were dead. Ian agreed repeatedly, then dragged Rui away. Megan burst out laughing. God, CEO is so handsome. Afraid she'd say something even more outrageous, I tried to pull her away, but William said he needed to talk to me and took me with him instead. The moment we got into the car, he asked, What's your relationship with that man earlier? We dated. We broke up. I kept my tone light. You still have feelings for him? No. Then why did you cry for him? William turned his head to look at me. The neon lights of the city flickered through the tinted window, illuminating his face and striking shadows. You're my woman, he said quietly, yet you cried for another man. That's embarrassing for me. If it happens again, don't blame me for losing my temper. Then his gaze dropped to my exposed waist and long legs. From now on, clothes that show off your figure, you can only wear them for me, not for other men to enjoy. I was speechless. With a hint of defiance, I muttered, I'm just your canary, the girl who solves your physical needs. You don't have to make so many demands. He paused, then let out a cold laugh. Oh, and did you've solved them tonight? Instead of staying home, you were out partying at a bar. I retorted without thinking, You didn't come. I wait for you every day. It gets boring, so I went out for a bit. What's wrong with that? Surprise flickered in his eyes. You wait for me every day? Of course not. The truth was, being a canary who gets paid but doesn't have to work was heaven. But to stay in character, I still gave a soft hum of acknowledgement. Unexpectedly, he leaned in slightly and murmured, "Do you wait for me or for my body?" Remembering his rule that if I liked him, I wouldn't get his money, I forced myself to answer, "Your body." His ears turned faintly red. I wanted to sink through the floor. Desperate to change the subject, I said, "I didn't expect Megan to say something crazy like calling you my man. If that caused you trouble, I can help clarify publicly." His eyes narrowed. I admitted it. "And you want to clarify? Are you trying to slap me in the face?" "No, I just thought. I'm just a canary who can't be seen." He cut me off. "I never said you can't be seen. If you want to go out with me, just tell me." My eyes widened in shock. "I can still go out with you?" "Yes." "Then if I want to watch a movie, will you go with me?" "Yes." "What about shopping?" "Yes." "Then if I... You talk too much." He leaned over and sealed my mouth with a kiss. Only after a long moment did he pull away, resting his forehead against mine, breathing lightly. "Sleep with me tonight." I nodded. But once we got into bed, the realization that this was the first time we were doing it, while both sober, made me so nervous I squeezed my eyes shut. He seemed to read my mind. He lowered his head and chuckled softly. "What does closing your eyes mean? Nervous? Shy?" "Both," I whispered. "It's not the first time." "Be good. Open your eyes. Look at me." Feeling his burning gaze on my skin, I obeyed and met his eyes at close distance. My heart pounded uncontrollably. He kissed me again, then paused right at the crucial moment. "Do you have condoms?" "No." "Then I'll order delivery." "It's okay, I can take the pill." "No. The pill is bad for your body. But you won't enjoy it as much. Compared to your health, that little pleasure is nothing." I was stunned by how genuinely he cared. After he placed the order on his phone, I was still dazed. "What are you thinking about?" he asked. Afraid he'd think I was overthinking, I blurted something random. "I was wondering what happiness feels like." He was startled. "You've never felt happy before?" I fell silent. He became serious. "Then what did you feel the previous times?" God, how was I supposed to say this? "Say it," he insisted softly. "It's important to me." I inhaled deeply and braced myself. "The first night you were drugged. I only felt pain. The second night, I was drugged. I barely had any consciousness. I just felt hot and thirsty." His eyes darkened. "I'm sorry. Tonight, I'll pay attention to how you feel." My face burned. "It's fine. I'm not picky." "No, your feelings matter." My heart trembled thinking of how he publicly claimed to be my man and how seriously he cared for my health and comfort. Something tender and overwhelming grew inside me, a vine curling, climbing, spreading. Before I could stop myself, I asked quietly, "Why do you care about me so much? Do you like me?" His desire in his gaze vanished instantly, leaving only cold, bottomless black. His hand on my neck shifted from caressing to control. "Don't look for trouble. I care because only when you're healthy and enjoying it can I feel pleasure, that's all." Whether he was convincing himself or convincing me, I didn't know. He added sharply, "Then he's divorcing you," my father said. "Yes," I replied, trying to sound calm. "But can you not use your connections to speed up the process?" "Just follow the normal procedure," he answered. "Register, wait a month during the cooling off period, and then collect the divorce certificate." I nodded, determined to make the most of that month, to earn the $5 million. Secretary Chen hesitated, clearly reluctant, but after my shameless pleading, he agreed and accompanied me to register the divorce. That afternoon, my father called. When he learned William refused to work with him and we had formally filed, his anger erupted. Afraid he might ruin my plans, I lied casually. I had taken the gum early. The drug had done its work and I had found a male model at the bar. My father was furious, but since I was now tainted, he no longer had leverage over the Gu family and had no choice but to accept that the arranged marriage had ended. I exhaled, relieved. The good news was, that night, when I told William I moved into the clock tower, he immediately transferred $5 million to me. The better news, he seemed to forget about his little canary entirely and didn't contact me for a full week. Feeling safe to relax, I went to a bar with Megan. That night happened to feature a dance event with free drinks, and we got up on stage performing a hot duet of Troublemaker. When we stepped down, many men's eyes were fixed on us, especially my ex, Ian, whose peach blossom eyes followed me greedily. I understood why. When we dated, I dressed conservatively, even in summer, covering my calves. Now in a black crop top and a miniskirt, my pale waist and long legs were on full display. We met our eyes, and I felt a pang of discomfort wanting to avoid him, but his girlfriend, Rui, suddenly gripped his arm and turned to face me, pouting. "You said Kathy was ugly, like a country bumpkin, and didn't turn you on. But today she looks beautiful. Why did you lie?" Ian chuckled, dismissive. "You're jealous. Don't be. She only has a face. She's boring. Even if she stood naked in front of me, I'd feel nothing. I dumped her ages ago." I froze. The boy who once professed eternal love was now humiliating me publicly. My chest ached and hot tears spilled down my cheeks. Megan was furious for me. She whispered, "He's the one cheating. Why didn't you go up there and confront him?" I shook my head, tears falling freely. "He's never admitted I'm his wife. As a canary like me, what right do I have?" Megan frowned but comforted me gently. I wiped my face, letting out a bitter laugh. Everything he did, his attention, his gifts, his gestures, was just to make me obey willingly. If I had confessed my feelings or my identity, he would have laughed in my face. That night, back in the clock tower, William emerged from the shower and climbed into bed. He woke me with a soft kiss, and I instinctively snuggled into his arms. "I'm tired today. I just want to sleep." He paused, gaze serious. "Don't you have anything to ask me?" The memory of that woman kissing him stabbed at my chest, but I hardened my tone. "Nope." He studied me for a moment. "You saw another woman kiss me, and you felt nothing?" I froze. Was this a test? A warning? I masked my emotions and said cautiously, "Of course I felt something. I was afraid he'd spend money on her instead of me." His eyes brightened, then dimmed, disappointment flickering across his features. "So all you care about is my money?" I blinked, confused. "Isn't that the arrangement? You said you would never love me. We're just using each other." He gave a faint, approving smile. You're doing very well." I closed my eyes, preparing to sleep. But suddenly, he pinned me down and kissed me with a raw intensity. I struggled, upset. "What are you doing? That hurts." He stopped, the fire in his eyes fading. "I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me. Don't say things like ending this. I won't do it again." I sniffled, relieved. "Then let's end it in 3 days," I said carefully. He stiffened. "What do you mean?" "Because in 3 days, we'll be officially divorced. I don't want to renew the arrangement after that." His hand relaxed, curling into a loose fist on the mattress. He exhaled slowly, then got out of bed and walked out, leaving a faint smell of cigarette smoke. I lay there, hollow, exhausted, and awake until dawn. For the next 2 days, neither of us contacted each other. On the third morning, I went to the Civil Affairs office with Secretary Chen to pick up the official divorce certificate. Halfway through, Secretary Chen hesitated. "Are you sure you want to divorce the boss? I feel like he likes you. When he's with you, he seems genuinely happy. But these past days, he's been blowing up at the company nonstop, yelling, kicking trash cans." I shook my head. "It's nothing to do with me," I said firmly.
When the elevator arrived, William and his entourage stepped inside. My dad tugged me along into the cab. William glanced at our joined hands, but I couldn't tell if he noticed. The ride felt suffocating until we stepped out, and he didn't follow. I breathed a sigh of relief, burying myself in the food while my parents argued over property. Exhausted, I stepped to the hallway window, letting the cold air clear my head. Soon, my father came out, lighting a cigarette. "What do you want?" he asked. I didn't answer, letting the night settle around me. "Stay with her or stay with me?" he asked. I pressed my lips together, silent. He sighed. "Stay with me. I can buy the plot of land where your great-aunt lived. You can build your own house there." My heart trembled. My great-aunt had no children. After she and her husband passed away, her husband's nephew had forcibly taken the house. I had always wanted to reclaim that land, to rebuild a home where she had given me warmth. But the nephew demanded an outrageous price. Now, hearing my father offer this, I was tempted. I smiled faintly. "All right, if you can get that land, I'll stay with you." My dad let out a relieved breath and reached out to touch my head. But suddenly, a strong, elegant hand grabbed my wrist and yanked me backward. I gasped, steadied myself, and looked up into William's eyes filled with a storm of fury. His voice was sharp, cold, mocking, enough to freeze the air. "3 days after we split and you've already found yourself a new man? Or were you flirting with him while you were with me?" He shot my dad a contemptuous glance. "Is he richer than me, or does he make you happier in bed?" My father froze, the cigarette slipping from his fingers. I was stunned too, unable to understand how William could mistake my father for some other man. But the words cut through me like knives. Hurt, disappointment, and anger all at once. I gathered my strength and slapped him hard across the face. My voice cracked, harsh and shaking. "If I'm that disgusting in your eyes, then why the hell are you talking to me? Get lost." 5 red finger marks bloomed across his pale cheek. His voice grew colder, sharper, mocking even more. "I didn't want to talk to you, but then I thought, you once slept with me and now you're sleeping with someone old enough to be your father? Embarrassing." His eyes glinted with hurt beneath the fury. "If you want money, fine. If you want sex or land, say the word. I'd give you everything. So why him and not me? Am I really worth less than some old man to you?" The more he spoke, the more unhinged he sounded, even a trace of grievance creeping into his words. I was speechless. My dad's expression was a mess of red and green. Furious, yet restrained. At 58, he was tall, muscular from years of training, striking even now. But hearing William repeatedly call him an old man, he could only swallow hard, clear his throat, and speak solemnly. "Mr. Gu, I don't know why you misunderstood something between Kathy and me. Let me clarify. We are a proper father-daughter pair. I am her father, she is my daughter." William froze, as if struck by lightning. It took him a long moment before he asked awkwardly, "He's really your dad?" I rolled my eyes. My father cut in. "Of course I am." Then, turning to William with mild confusion, "How do you not know this? You were my son-in-law for 3 years, her husband. The daughter you married in that arranged marriage was Kathy. She's my only daughter. Who else could it be?" For the first time, William's usually stoic face showed shock, excitement, and relief all at once. He exhaled and first apologized to my father, then turned to me with a small smile. "So, we were married all along. You hid it from me." I let out a cold laugh. "Not anymore. We divorced 3 days ago." A crack appeared in his perfect expression. "That doesn't count. I never agreed." "Oh, did you forget that you personally ordered Secretary Chen to notify me about the divorce? And the certificate is stamped. You have your copy. That's it." I took my dad's hand and turned to leave. He grabbed my wrist. "I still have things to say to you." "I don't want to hear them." "I like you."
Both my father and I were stunned. My father, thrilled beyond belief, immediately released my hand and urged, "Talk to him properly." Then he left. William pulled me closer, hands steady around my waist, gaze locked on mine. "Serious, Kathy. I like you. Can we start over?" My heart thumped violently, but my sanity held. "Weren't you just playing with me? How did that turn into liking me?" "You overheard what I said to Secretary Chen," he said slowly, sighing. "I had an older brother, brilliant, but he fell in love with a woman with a narcissistic personality disorder. She tormented him until he killed himself. For the family's reputation, my parents announced he died of sudden illness. That incident changed me. I swore I would never love anyone, never let a woman affect my emotions. But when you shielded me, risking your life, I liked you. I'd never been in love, so I didn't recognize it. I just knew I wanted to see you smile, to be good to you. Then, when I saw you kiss another man, cry for another man, and be indifferent, when another woman kissed me, I felt furious. My insides burned like fire. Now I finally understand. I like you. I want to be with you." His sudden, tragic backstory and heartfelt confession left me speechless. He grew anxious. "Can't you try to like me? Give me a chance?" I stabbed him with my words. "Are you sick? Why would you like someone like me? Someone who'd sleep with an old man for money?" His face stiffened. Then he sighed, remorseful. "I was angry earlier and I spoke too harshly. No misunderstanding. I really do like money." His eyes softened. "Perfect. I'm the richest person around. Stay with me, and your only job is to spend my money." I was slightly startled. "Say things like that? Aren't you afraid you'll end up like your brother? Destroyed by love?" He shook his head. "No, because I know you're kind. You won't hurt me, and I won't hurt you. I'll love you properly. But long ago, you swore you'd never love me, never marry me. How am I supposed to believe you now?" He rubbed his forehead. "I was pretending to be cold. I didn't expect you'd have such an effect on me that I'd willingly kneel before you emotionally. If possible, I'd remarry you right now." I smiled faintly. "All right, say that again when you're sober up. People who aren't meant to be always separate in the end. Just like my parents. They're nearly 60 and still negotiating their divorce." He blinked. "So, when your father said, 'Stay with me,' he meant after their divorce? You were choosing between living with him or your mom?" I raised my eyebrow. "What else would he mean?" A month and a half later, my parents finalized their divorce. I didn't stay with either of them. I returned to my great-aunt's village, and William came too, shamelessly clinging to me despite my protests. He bought back my great-aunt's land at its proper price. I designed the house, hired a professional team, and 2 months later, the structure was complete. William still hadn't left. When he wasn't working remotely, he acted like a full-time house husband, buying groceries, cooking meals, washing clothes, mopping floors. Tall, elegant, noble-tempered William had become the village's favorite gossip topic. Unable to endure it any longer, I tried to tick him out. "Can't you go back to High City? I don't need you here." He sat on the sofa, pressing his handsome face against my neck in a spoiled tone. "No, I need to see you all the time." Goosebumps ran over my skin. "What about the woman in High City? Aren't you supposed to go kiss her?" He chuckled, cupping my face with a smile. "You've finally asked. She's my cousin. Grew up abroad. That was just a cheek kiss greeting." "Oh, then I'll find a cousin to kiss too." "Don't you dare." "Why not? It's just a cheek kiss, right?" He sighed dramatically. "Fine, my fault. I won't let her kiss me again. My body and heart belong only to you." I gave a soft hum. He asked, "So, when are we remarrying?"
Depends on your performance. He looked utterly wronged. What more do you want from me? I'm your ATM, online and offline. I couldn't help laughing, shoulders shaking. He stood, grabbed my hand, and dragged me outside. Come on, let's ask the village aunties whether there's anyone as cruel as you. Panicking, I grabbed the table leg, laughing uncontrollably. No, 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 fine, I'll agree. He stopped, leaned in, eyes bright. Call me husband. No, I'll call you sugar daddy.